Hello, welcome to Robo Dojo anywhere, anytime. I'm your librarian, Dan Lo. So today we're going to introduce a new box in Choregraphe software, and it's called the Dialog box, and it's a new module function in Choregraphe. Basically, we can use this to develop a chatbot, and we are going to use this bot to develop a very simple Halloween text-based adventure game. As usual, let's start Choregraphe first. Switch to the box libraries view and then search for Dialog. Now we'll pick the first one. Now in order to use the dialog, we have to select language first. So let's also get the language box in. And now let's first connect the boxes. The basic structure of the game is already there, and it's actually already working, believe it or not. So if you switch to the dialog interface, and here if you click this green play button to upload the game to the robot, it already knows a few things. So for example, when I say hi, the robot will say, hello, how are you today? I'll say fine. And it'll say, I'm glad you're fine. And what is your favorite color between blue and red? I'll just say blue. And the robot says, blue is a very nice color in my preferred is violet. Do you want to play a game? I'll say yes. And it'll say, let's play. But of course, it won't play anything because we haven't developed the game yet. So let's stop the tab and then go to the project content window. And then as you will notice, when we were dragging the dialog box into this working area, the system created a folder on the behavior. It's called example dialog. And example dialog has two documents. The .dlg file, we won't touch anything there today. Now the one we're going to work on today is example dialog _ENU. ENU stands for English.top. So if you double click on this file, the new window you open up will give you an overview of what's already defined in the chatbot at the moment by default. So it'll, as you can see, it already has a few concepts developed. That means when a user says something, anything in the parentheses after the concept is the name of the concept. So the first concept here, the name is yes. And this concept contains all of these different words in a list. Each phrase or word or sentence is separated by a space. And as you can see, if the phrase itself has space in it, you have to wrap it with double quotes. Underneath the concept is the rules. So for example here, when the user say a word from the yes concept, the robot will understand it, and the robot will say, let's play. Okay, let's play. And it sets a parameter, play a game, to be true. We are not actually going to use the play a game parameter, but we will create a proposal in the dialog. A proposal, for example here, a proposal is a set of rules that sets something the robot will propose for us to do. So for example, the first proposal here, the phrase with the percentage in front of it means that's the name of the proposal. So this proposal's name is how are you? Now if we trace it back, when the user says something in the how concept, so the how concept, if we check down here, it's when human says how are you, howdy, what's up, how do you feel, any of these phrases, the robot will say I'm fine, thank you, and you, and then it will go to the how are you proposal, and the robot will say, I'm fine, thank you, and you? And it'll say, how are you today? So the robot will propose something for the humans to respond to. Alright? Now that is a very brief introduction about how this dialogue file works. Next step, let's start to create concepts or phrases for our Halloween game. Alright? So I'll use the pound sign and making a comment. Okay, this is defining Halloween game keywords and sentences. So it means underneath this comment we're going to define a serious concept here. Okay, so the first concept. So the thing we have is we are going to develop the adventure game. So the robot has to, when we say we want to play a game, the robot should be able to propose something, right? The starting line of the game. So I'll call this concept situation 0. Anything when the game first starts, what the robot have to say, and we will include the concept phrases into a list. So it's a square bracket here I'm using. And I'll say, I'm typing something. Okay, that's our first concept. So the robot will say you're in an old castle, there are 2 doors. Now if this is the only thing you want the robot to say every time, that's fine. But to make things more interesting, let's include some other phrases for the situation 0 concept, okay? Alright, so that's about all the phrases I want to define for the first concept. And if we define it in this way, and we use tilde situation 0, the robot will probably pick the first one every time. Now I don't want to do that, so we can add a simple thing. It's caret. Anything started with caret is actually going to be a small function in the dialog box. So I said caret rand. That means basically it'll randomly choose one phrase from this list. So that's kind of what I needed. So I have my first concept. Now let's go to define our game, okay? So here, where it says play a game, I want to delete the color proposal. Okay, we are just going to define the Halloween game here. So we can change it to the robot ask users for play the Halloween game. Alright, we can remove this too because we're not going to use that. So I'll say proposal, and let's give the proposal a name. Let's just say play a game. And as you will notice, there is already a play a game concept here, so we can just remove this. Okay, and then let's remove, because we're not going to use that. Let's play, and now here I'll just say when it's ready to play, I'll go to the game we are going to develop next, okay? And it is called play a game. It will say the first sentence of game, okay? So, alright, here we go. And then it'll we are going to use the situation 0 concept. So pick 1. The robot didn't actually answer a question, so make it after state situation, answer question 0. I have question 0, and I'll be similar to the situation. Okay, include a few phrases again, sentences. Alright, that's my second concept. And then go down to our game proposal. After this, I can ask the robot to say, I defined separated into 2 concepts, so it can be more, feel more randomized, so the robot won't be saying the same thing every time. And then the user's response, let's write U1. So how the user is going to respond, we have to define concept for the user too. Alright, so let's define a new concept. I'll say answer 0. The answer is from the user. Because the answer is from the user, so I don't need to use a randomized function, because this is just for the robot to pick up the words said by the user. It's hard to predict what the user is going to say, but let's do our best, okay? Alright, so then the user should have an answer. It's a 0. Once the user gives us the answer, we have to say if he or she win the game or lose the game the first round at least. I designed 2 rounds of the game, so we have to say define a success or not 0 concept. Because it's a simple game, we can just use the randomized function again. Depending on the robot's mood, it'll let you pass or not. Alright, we add 3 phrases for winning. Let's add 3 for lose, so the user has a 50-50 chance to win the first round, okay? Alright, so now in the game, we can make the robot give the response. So that's, we already developed the first round of the game. Let's test it. Test run it, okay? If we pull up the dialog view and we test run it, I will still say hello. Robot say how are you? I'll still say fine. Oops, something's wrong. Let's take a look. Oh, because we have to change the here, okay? We have to change the here so the robot knows to go to, we delete that, go to favorite colors proposal. Alright, let's run again. Okay, see, I'll say right. See if I get it or not. Good play! Alright, so that's good for now. Now let's go back to our project, open the dialog file again. So let's start for the next round. First proposal is here, and then we're going to add another proposal here. So let's say proposal. This time we give it a different name. We say, we could call it play text. Okay, you can name it whatever way you want it. Okay, so let's add something the robot is going to say. I will say it's pitch dark. You found yourself. Now here I want to define a new situation concept. Alright, that will be the second situation, so let's go back here. you find yourself, and here we're going to use situation 1. And we probably want to give user some hints of the next, the next move. So let's say, what are you going to do? Escape, do nothing, or hack. Right? And then here we're going to have the user's answers again. So let's go to the top to the concept function section. Define another concept. Answer 1. Okay, and again it's user answer, so we don't need to randomize it. Right. So 1. And now this time we have to define another success or not phrase for the second round. Okay. So second round, I'm still going to use randomized function. Alright, now we have the two proposals, but there's one issue, they are not connected. So in the first play a game proposal, when the user wins, we should let the robot propose to play the next round of the game. So let's go back to the success or not concept. So as I said, we have 3, right? So here, when the user wins, the robot should propose. Let's go to the play a game next proposal. And I'll just connect this to success answers. Play. And that'll link the first round and second round together. Alright, now let's save it. Then let's test run it. Hi. Fine. Left. Wow, good play. Okay, see? So I can move down to the next round. Now I just say escape. Try my luck. Uh-oh. Game over. But this proves it's working, right? And next, what I want to do is to give the game some final touch to make it even better. So as you can see here, when the robot asks how are we doing, if we say happy, it'll say, I'm glad you're fine. But I found, it lacks some common terms. So for example, a lot of times I'll say good or perfect. So let's add these phrases. And also, what if once the game is over, I want to play it again? So let's better define a phrase, a concept called play. So here, the user might say, since we only have one game left in there's no ambiguity, so we can just use this as a cue. Or when the user wants to play it again, it might say play again, play the game again, or all of the modern chatbot almost work the same way. You have to define, a series of concepts. They might call different things in different chatbot systems, but the basic idea is the same. You define the concepts so the robot understands. People can use different phrases to refer to the same thing, and it's just an easy way to let the robot understand human, or make the robot seem to understand human. It's kind of nice to have the concept separated from the rules. So, when you're looking at the rules, you want to change some of the phrases, you can just change it in a batch within a concept instead of, patching things all over the places in your coding. Now for chatbot, this is especially useful. Alright, so we defined the play the game concept, the play concept. Actually, if the humans want to start the game, the humans can say these phrases to ask a robot to directly start a game instead of starting things from how are you, okay? So let's just define a general rule. So let's define it underneath hello, okay? So let's just have a hashtag again to say if user want to start and then the user will say a phrase from the play concept we just defined. So the robot can say one of the yes words, and then it can move on to the play a game proposal. Right. Now, another thing is we also want the robot to, in the case of the robot doesn't give the expected answer, we could say we can ask a robot to respond to. So for example, so this underscore star means the user says anything other than our expected phrases in the concept answer with 0, then the robot can say that's not a valid response. Let's try it again, and we want the robot to stay in the same proposal. So the robot will repeat, or in our case, because we're using randomized phrases in the concepts, it'll just propose a new play game thing. And then let's do the same thing for the second round of the game. Okay, now I'll fix it. The thing we want to keep in our mind is sometimes one concept gets activated and gets down. We want to reactivate it. The best thing to do is actually react the concept. So I think in the documentation says go to reactive. So the reactive attack. So let's use that. Go to Alright, now let's try our games again. Let's try it again. Let's say hi. Good. See, now to start game again. So I'll say right this time. And we could let's play it again, and this time let's give the robot some unexpected answer. And it'll say, that's not a valid response. Let's try it again. Alright. So there are predefined animations we can use, but we're not going to include here. If you're interested, you can look through the documentation and add animated gestures for the robots in the game. That'll make it more fun. Alright. Happy Halloween, everybody. Bye.